Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So we hope all you guys are doing well out there.
Yep.
Well, the death toll has now risen to 9 from the collapsed Florida tower block. Officials carry out sweeping safety reviews of other old buildings, as 156 people remain unaccounted for. And, there's so much coming out about this right now that it's going to be tough for people. Well, it might not be tough for people. Some people might just automatically come out and just believe whatever it is that they're seeing. As here at Zero Hedge, we see engineer warned of major structural damage before this tower collapsed. Structural engineering firm Morabito Consultants completed a field survey report 3 years ago of the now collapsed Champlain Towers South condominium complex in Surfside, Florida, and found structural damage 3 years ago. 9-page report from October 2018 was first noted by the New York Times early Saturday. The report provides ample evidence of structural damage to concrete slabs under the pool deck, cracking and crumbling in the parking garage. Yeah, this has taken me back to when my mom was still alive a long time ago, and I was young. There was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where my mom was living, something called the La Ambiance collapse disaster that happened. And it was a building that collapsed and kind of pancaked down, while being built. And I remember going down, and of course, there was vigils and prayers for everybody involved. We have to take a step back sometimes from our emotions and being pulled directly into everything that we're going to be blasted with. When you look over here, you see emotional mom blast Governor DeSantis and Miami condo rescue effort for not moving fast enough. And when this was written, death toll was 5, now it's 9. Many people remain missing. Obviously, at some point in time, the death toll is going to rise drastically. Just look at some of what you see stated here. The woman questioned how nobody had emerged dead or alive from the wreckage in days. She accused the Florida governor of keeping up appearances, saying he's going to take a nice picture. She claimed he had been breaking promises by preventing Israeli crews from helping in the search. Red tape is not important when my daughter is dying, she said in a meeting of families and officials. Governor DeSantis deflected the issue onto the rescue crews on the ground. It's an operational decision. If we take a look back and just say, okay, what has this done? Who has this affected? Obviously, besides the people who have lost their lives and their family members, you could see where the negative feelings and perhaps a building of a negative vibe could be placed. Is it just me seeing that, or?
Well, no, I'm looking here and I'm seeing that a lot of people have had their lives shattered and changed forever. And there's so much information swirling about, so this is really, really a chaotic situation. And I think to help heal it or actually figure out what happened, the heart energy needs to go to the people that were there, the people who are affected, and helping and healing them. From there, truth can rise from the ashes, so to speak.
Yeah, there's been some buzz that there's a certain person that has recently left this world, this realm of existence. At least that's what we're told. With the initials JM, that perhaps had an apartment in here. And that's something that there's stuff buzzing on the net. Some people will see what's buzzing and believe it automatically. Others will be cynical. It all depends on what we have been exposing ourselves to informationally. But in these times, it's good to take a step back. Let's send prayers and best wishes for anyone that's possibly still alive, in there, as well as the families that are involved in this. That the healing will be able to begin, and as they will try, or some will try to get to the bottom of what's really going on. Now, we got from the galactics yesterday, which we had an extremely powerful session, meditation channeling session, best really in probably close to a year, if ever. And we got clearly that you're going to be seeing a lot of things, and you have been seeing a lot of things. Be aware that the official explanations often will not be the actual reality of what's going on, as this is a shell game in so many ways on this globe right now. With look here, and meanwhile something else is going on. We know, we've analyzed data from 20 years ago, and seen how the cards fall, so to speak, and seen irregularities that just kind of defy explanation. You recognize it's not hard, really, to put paper trails together. Um, and there really could most definitely have been things that were in play realistically. And if you've ever driven New York roads, say going through New York, you see there's so many potential disasters there with infrastructure that's crumbling. Just to give a for instance, that could crumble at any time. If there is any little extra something, a little oomph here and there, and things can fall down like a house of cards.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I want to send prayers, positive intentions, that if there's anybody to be found alive, that they will be found alive as soon as possible, and that love and light and healing be sent to the families of all the people involved in this. Obviously, this is a huge tragedy, and it is, again, another thing that can divide us or unite us depending on how we view things.
It sure can, and that's what they do. They like to keep us divided. So let's not let that happen, and let's let the real healing begin for these people, and send our energy to their heart chakras, and also ask for some some truth to actually be brought to light. That would be very refreshing.
Yes. Classified Ministry of Defense documents found at a bus stop. Yeah, and not only that, but one other set of documents discusses the likely Russian reaction to the ship's passage, the HMS Defense, the one that went, and all this huge row began going along next to Crimea. And there's certain subjects that are very, very touchy because, we've had powers that be like reaching out to us about certain subjects. So that these subjects are important. And this is one. The thing that happened there, where the Russian Su-24 went and dropped some bombs, warning the ship to change course because it was passing too close to what the Russian Navy thought it should. This is something big, that explosion, that quote unquote test, that 3.9 magnitude test that occurred off the northern coast of Florida was big, and this building collapse is big. These things, there's something that's interconnected here. It feels like there's something that's interconnected. And then we have paperwork that just turns up at a bus stop. Talking, this is kind of crazy, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. How does that happen? Is that an accident too?
So the Ministry of Defense is investigating an incident where sensitive defense papers were recovered by a member of the public. The MOD employee concerned reported the loss at the time. It said, basically Russian jets and ships shadowed the British warship. What will be the fallout from the Black Sea incident in the UK confirms drawdown of Afghan troops. Documents, almost 50 pages in all, were found in a soggy heap behind the bus stop in Kent on early Tuesday morning. A member of the public who wishes to remain anonymous contacted the BBC when he realized the sensitive nature of the contents. The BBC believes the documents, which included emails and PowerPoint presentation, originated in the office of a senior official at the MOD. Documents related to the Royal Navy's Type 45 destroyer, HMS Defender, showed that a mission described by the MOD as an innocent passage through the Ukrainian territorial waters with guns covered and the ship's helicopters stowed in its hangar was conducted in the expectation that Russia might respond aggressively. On Wednesday, more than 20 Russian aircraft and 2 Coast Guard ships shadowed the warship as it sailed about 12 miles off Crimea's coast. So, it's just interesting to see this. How does that just happen? There's so many coincidences, as we're saying. Really, are they coincidences? Portland, by the way, did record the hottest day ever, as those record temperatures are ongoing. Portland, 108 degrees Saturday afternoon. It beat the previous record of 107. Seattle reached 101. And of course, we have this ongoing drought. It's going on in the West. Over 90% of the West is in drought conditions right now. That's huge. And water levels are in a dangerous position as well. And, Lake Mead is one of those things that we've been talking about. So I wouldn't even say it's arguably, water is one of the most precious commodities when you're in the desert. Mm-hmm. We know that for sure. And that's, part of, why we ended up heading a little bit more east. Farmers struggling to water their crops. Less snowpack feeds rivers, streams, and lakes into the surrounding mountains. What little runoff there is from snow in the spring is immediately sopped up by the arid, dry soil before it can reach important bodies of water. A February report from California's State Water Resources Control Board, for instance, said the question is not whether warming will occur, but the magnitude. Of course, they're talking about global warming going on. Southern Nevada Water Authority gets 90% of its water from the Colorado River, acknowledges it's facing the worst drought in the basin's recorded history, and has been working to address the drought's impact on water supply for 20 years, including using 23 billion fewer gallons in 2020 than 2002, despite massive population growth. But the water body levels are at extremely low levels, as we see here. As you see some of the different locations, Folsom Lake, Great Salt Lake, Lake Tahoe, and Lake Mead. Yeah, we've traveled over that Lake Mead Bridge so many times. It's a spectacular view, absolutely gorgeous. But, that always hit me like, just always had the feeling like I was glad when we were past that area for some reason.
Sure did feel better once we reached a certain point. And yeah, it did.
And what happens is you have the mega drought sparking Grasshopper Plague in the western U.S. Yeah, now it's become quite evident that the western half of the U.S. is facing one of the worst mega droughts in decades. And so you have fallow land drying up reservoirs, and now we have a massive Grasshopper Plague. And, look at this. This map's from the 24th. And we can see so much of the red is getting to be more and more prevalent all throughout the West. And areas that we're extremely familiar with, they're in Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. It's heading into a very, very dangerous area, to say the least. And so we talked about things being bigger in Texas and some of the hail. Well, we have a new record hailstone recorded in Texas, 1.26 pounds of ice. And this came through a roof in April. Look at the size of this. And there's a picture of this next to a quarter, just to give you an idea. Again, that is most deadly something. Well, most definitely something that could be deadly,
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't
should
want to be
say.
having that hit my head.
Mm-mm. And our brother Michael up in Michigan was saying, "Did you see the floods by Dearborn?"
Wow.
You know, and we're talking about how it's been dry in some areas. And, you know, if you go back to that Western map, you'll notice that there's certain areas out east, like Western North Carolina and Western Virginia as well, that are starting to get drier and drier. And again, dry soil, then when you get these torrential rains, well, that's what you have. And this is Dearborn, Michigan, with water rescues and cars abandoned. And just going to take a look at some of the headlines real quick on the watchers because, you know, this stuff is just, it's a daily occurrence now. You have severe thunderstorm, unconfirmed tornado hits Barking, East London. 2 violent tornadoes hit China, destroying homes and claiming at least 8 lives. Violent hailstorm. Now, this is also over in Croatia, where there's massive flooding going on in Croatia as well. And Tropical Storm Enrique forms off the southwest coast of Mexico, life-threatening flash floods and mudslides possible over there. Then we have more signs of things in the sky, a loud bang heard, green light seen in northern Thailand. They say it could be a bolide.
Mhm.
Maybe it's something else as well. We've gotten a lot of these things. And Cindy feels it's not a bolide.
No.
It doesn't have that vibe.
It's not. It's a being that is coming through a portal. That came through so fast. It's like, no, it's not a bolide.
And there's a lot of portals that are open now.
Mhm.
5,000 racing pigeons mysteriously vanish en route in the UK. Breeders speculate atmospheric conditions may be to blame.
Aw.
Interesting. They flew the coop and they vanished into
That's
thin
weird.
air. 5,000 homing pigeons
Oh no.
just gone. They were on a 170-mile round trip, should have taken about 3 hours. Part of 250,000 pigeons released in approximately 50 racing events across the country, with just 10% returning on time and another tens of thousands reported missing. Curious, atmospheric conditions, updrifts, what's going on there?
Portals? I don't know. Did the encloaked ship open the door and take them? I don't know.
And then talk about countries that have been basically ravaged for decades and decades and decades. You know, we're looking at 40 plus years in Afghanistan of constant fighting. And here you see thousands are fleeing right now because of fighting between the Taliban and the government that was installed there. And meanwhile, it's just the average people that are suffering as the wars go on. These wars that, in many cases, it's differences in religion that are used in order to, you know, create the conflict or get people to go along with the conflict. And it's just sad because, you know, the little ones know nothing but this type of life of, you know, fleeing and being ready at a moment's notice to abandon an area and just scramble to safety. It would be nice to get out of this still dark age that we are in, into a place where this type of thing just doesn't happen anymore. And I do think it's possible because I don't think the majority of people on the planet, I don't know if we could keep that face up there too long, right?
Right.
We'll go back to the kids before AI has a chance. But by the way, there was a rally in Ohio, Ohio, OHIO. And, you know, I was saying to Cindy, geez, you remember when the Galactic said it was going to appear that a certain person, 4-5, is going to disappear and be gone? But that's not the case. Well, we could clearly see that now with thousands of people attending the rally and millions watching it within minutes on very, very small channels. In comparison to all the media that's out there, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, all these different outlets all over the place. And when you look at the views that 4-6 gets for anything compared to what 4-5 got, it really it's a telling story. But it's all part of a bigger plan that's underway. This is all part of the new scripture. It's the key word in there is script. Yet again, there's always, choices to be made, so to speak, or apparent choices to be made. But are there really choices? Or is it, again, is it that shell game? If we pick up all three of the shells, are we going to find anything under any of them or something under all of them?
Life is such a huge, huge mystery, but what do we do when we have this stuff going around and they're telling us, look here, no, look there, look here, look there. What do we do? They're trying to keep us from going within, to me. Yes, there's external things going on, and it is curious to have a better understanding of what's going on. And I have my personal belief on which path that I am going to take to my own personal freedom. Everybody has to make their own choice. But remember, no matter how good something looks, it's still an illusion.
It is, and ultimately what this reality is for us is a temporary reality, the reality that we're in right now. Being in these bodies, when we look to all the great traditions, the great mystery traditions in the West, because they had to maintain themselves as a mystery, but in the East and in so many other ancient times, they were out there in the open, and we knew this was an experience being had. We are consciousness. We could view it and say we are spirit, having a temporary, heavy, dense 3D, 4D experience. That is the temporary. It's not the real us. The real us is eternal because, again, energy can't be created or destroyed, and everything that we see is energy. It only changes forms. And if we can give more attention to the spiritual side of things, we can get a better feel for that. And, I just wish that everybody out there was, and I know a lot of you guys are having experiences like the experiences we have. So for us, we don't have faith, quote unquote, because we have a daily experience of knowing, of gnosis, again, because we prioritize the spiritual side of things so highly that we do have direct communication with different realms every single day. And so we know it's real, and we could sense the real us that's up on the higher densities and recognize this is just an aspect of us. This is a portion of who we are. We're so much more than just this physical body. And we're here to make change and to awaken all the sleeping earth angels to who you actually are, and awaken these star seeds, awaken these light workers as we head out of the dark age and into a new age, eventually a golden age of light. As we had shared, Lemuria, when we're talking about that time frame, that was a 5D existence. And there's been a slow fall in density that has allowed these darker energies to start to control and take over certain individuals and control our reality. But they only have at best 9 or 10 years of being able to hang on fully. And, right now, even that ability is falling away. Every moment that goes by is a moment closer to the freedom of humanity and everything that lives on this plane, on this planet.
Very, very important to keep in mind that, yes, we understand we're all under a lot of stress. It is hard to bloom and, spread your wings when we're under these stressful conditions where, you might not have enough money to pay the bills, you got to get food on the table, you got to make this payment, that payment. This is why it's so important to stop and meditate, take a deep breath, remember who you are so you can continue to pass that light on to the next person, might really need a smile. The one standing next to you or the person in the store might need that little touch of tenderness, that little touch of kindness. That becomes so, so important. And you guys need to have your batteries charged enough to continue to spread your light exactly in that manner. Because when your energy like that touches another person, it lights them up, you know. So in a way, we are our own, I guess, a good virus in a way by spreading our light just by touching someone's life in a manner that's going to make them smile. You light their life. So keep that in mind, how important it is to take good care of yourself. Give yourself some time out, give yourself that meditation, and just be who you are and bloom.
Yes. And there's so many forces of light that are here to help us and really want to help us and will help us if we ask them to help us. And again, you know, on the higher planes of existence, you're not going to find a Yeshua arguing with Buddha over who's greater. That never ever comes into play, you know, and both of them would view that as ridiculous because they have love and compassion, and that's what they are. You know, they are beings full of love and compassion and light and not ego. That's all this lower vibrational frequency that puts one being of light above another. And it's all division tactics because they all work together on the higher realm. And we had such an experience of that yesterday. That was truly so beautiful that, you know, Cindy was almost, well, she was kind of like just had tears of joy at the love that exists on the higher realms for us. And they want us to come up to that level of being, that level of vibration. And it's not through thinking that, well, only us, you know, my group has the right dogma. Dogma is human and dogma divides. It's nothing about that. It simply is a place of where is your heart at? It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else. It's just about where is your heart at. When you look at these kids, look at those eyes. Look at those eyes staring back at you. Feel the compassion for them. Feel the compassion for all the people that are suffering from needless wars out there. It's not about dogma. Dogma is about division. It's about love and compassion and that heart-centered reality that leads to unity consciousness that we're taking the first steps on. So guys, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Thanks for being part of the family. Thumbs up to support the channel. Like, subscribe, and share so we can wake up others to this and get past the division, the dogma, and the divide and move into a golden age of light. God bless and namaste. And Cindy's going to give us a couple dings. God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.